In our hands, on our desks, and in our driveways, there are tiny, hidden brains at work. These are microchips, also known as semiconductors. They are the silent engines that power almost every piece of modern technology we use. Think about the smartphone you use to connect with family and friends. A powerful microchip inside allows you to make calls, send messages, and browse the internet. Without these small but mighty components, your phone would just be a piece of glass and plastic, unable to perform any of its amazing functions. They are the fundamental building blocks of our digital lives, a reality we often take for granted every single day. Let's look beyond our phones. The computer you use for work or school relies on a central processing unit, or CPU, which is a very complex microchip. This chip performs billions of calculations every second, allowing you to write documents, edit photos, and watch videos. The same is true for the television in your living room, which uses chips to decode signals and display a clear picture. Even simple household items like your microwave or washing machine have microchips inside to control their settings and cycles. These tiny pieces of silicon are everywhere, working tirelessly behind the scenes to make our lives easier and more connected. The cars we drive today are also becoming computers on wheels. A modern vehicle can contain over 1,000 microchips. They control everything from the engine's performance and fuel efficiency to the safety systems like airbags and anti-lock brakes. The navigation system that guides you to your destination, the infotainment screen that plays your music, and the sensors that help you park are all powered by these essential semiconductors. As cars become smarter and more automated, their dependence on a steady supply of advanced microchips will only continue to grow, making the source of these chips incredibly important. So, what are these microchips made of? Most are created from silicon, a common element found in sand. But turning sand into a sophisticated microchip is an incredibly difficult and expensive process. It happens in massive, ultra-clean factories called foundries or fabs. Inside these facilities, machines that cost millions of dollars etch microscopic circuits onto thin slices of silicon. The process is so precise that a single speck of dust can ruin an entire batch. This complexity means that only a few companies in the world have mastered the art of making the most advanced and powerful microchips. When we talk about where these essential microchips come from, one name stands above all others: Taiwan. This island nation, located off the coast of mainland China, has become the undisputed leader in semiconductor manufacturing. While other countries like the United States and South Korea also produce chips, Taiwan's role is unique. It is home to the world's largest and most advanced chip foundry, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC. This single company is responsible for making more than half of all the microchips used globally, a staggering concentration of industrial power in one place. TSMC does not design its own chips. Instead, it operates as a pure-play foundry. This means it manufactures chips for other companies that do the designing. Tech giants from around the world, including Apple, Nvidia, and Qualcomm, rely on TSMC to bring their designs to life. Apple's powerful A-series chips in the iPhone and M-series chips in Mac computers are all made in Taiwan. This business model has allowed TSMC to focus all its resources on perfecting the manufacturing process, helping it stay years ahead of its competitors in terms of technology and efficiency, making it an indispensable partner. The scale of Taiwan's production is difficult to comprehend. The country produces over 60% of the world's semiconductors by revenue. For the most advanced chips, those smaller than 10 nanometers that are needed for things like artificial intelligence and high-performance computing, Taiwan's dominance is even more pronounced. It manufactures over 90% of these cutting-edge chips. This means that the most powerful technologies being developed today are almost completely dependent on the factories located on this one island. This is not just a market lead, it is a near monopoly on the building blocks of the future. This leadership was not an accident. It was the result of decades of focused government policy, investment in education, and a strong work ethic. In the 1980s, Taiwan's government made a strategic decision to invest heavily in the semiconductor industry. They supported the creation of companies like TSMC and fostered an ecosystem of innovation and expertise. This long-term vision paid off spectacularly, transforming Taiwan from an agricultural economy into a high-tech powerhouse. Today, this Silicon Empire is the bedrock of Taiwan's economy, and its most important strategic asset on the world stage. Because of Taiwan's critical role in the microchip supply chain, leaders from the world's most powerful nations are paying very close attention. In Washington, D.C., in Beijing, and in European capitals, policymakers understand that a stable supply of semiconductors is essential for both economic prosperity and national security. The global economy runs on these chips. A disruption in their supply could trigger a worldwide recession, impacting everything from car manufacturing to the production of consumer electronics. This makes Taiwan's stability a matter of global economic concern for every major industrialized nation. The situation is made more complex by geopolitics. The government in Beijing considers Taiwan to be a breakaway province and has not ruled out the use of force to bring it under its control. The United States, on the other hand, maintains a policy of strategic ambiguity, providing Taiwan with defensive weapons, while not explicitly promising to defend it in case of an attack. This long-standing political tension places the world's most important manufacturing hub in a precarious position. The fate of Taiwan's semiconductor industry is now deeply intertwined with the geopolitical rivalry between the United States and China. For military and defense planners, the reliance on Taiwan is a significant vulnerability. Advanced weapons systems, from fighter jets and drones to communication networks and surveillance satellites, all depend on the most sophisticated microchips. The fact that over 90% of these high-end chips are made in a potential geopolitical flashpoint is a cause for great alarm. A conflict over Taiwan could instantly cut off the supply of components needed to maintain a modern military, creating a critical national security risk for the United States and its allies who depend on this technology. In response to this risk, governments around the world are trying to diversify their supply chains. The United States has passed legislation like the CHIPS Act, providing billions of dollars in subsidies to encourage companies like TSMC to build new factories on American soil. Europe and Japan are making similar investments, hoping to increase their domestic chip production capacity. However, building these advanced foundries takes many years and hundreds of billions of dollars. For the foreseeable future, the world will remain heavily dependent on Taiwan, keeping it at the center of global attention and strategic calculation. So, what would happen if Taiwan were suddenly unable to send its microchips to the rest of the world? The impact would be immediate and catastrophic. The assembly lines for cars, phones, laptops, and countless other products would grind to a halt within weeks. Companies would be unable to produce the goods we rely on, leading to massive shortages and skyrocketing prices. The global economy, which is built on the assumption of a constant flow of these components, would face a crisis unlike any it has seen before. It would be a technological and economic shockwave felt in every corner of the globe. The disruption would go far beyond consumer goods. Essential infrastructure such as data centers that power the internet, communication networks that connect us, and even parts of the electrical grid would be affected. The development of new technologies like artificial intelligence and 5G would be frozen in its tracks without access to the advanced chips needed to move forward. Hospitals would struggle to get new medical equipment, and scientific research would slow down dramatically. The invisible engine that drives modern progress would simply shut down, with consequences that are difficult to fully predict, but would certainly be severe. This vulnerability reveals just how interconnected and fragile our globalized world has become. We have built a system of incredible efficiency where a tiny island produces the brains for the entire planet. This efficiency has brought immense benefits, making technology cheaper and more accessible for billions of people. However, it has also created a single point of failure. The fate of the global economy rests on the continued stability and operation of a handful of factories located in one of the world's most sensitive geopolitical areas. It is a hidden portal that connects us all, but one that could close at any moment. In the end, the story of Taiwan and its microchips is a story about all of us. These tiny pieces of engineered sand are more than just components in our devices. They are the threads that weave our modern society together. They connect us to information, to each other, and to the global economy. Understanding Taiwan's role as the guardian of this connection is crucial. It reminds us that in our complex world, the smallest things can often have the biggest impact, and that the fragile piece in one part of the world is essential for the progress and prosperity of all of us.